Welcome to Community Conversations. I'm Frederick County Executive Jan Gardner, and joining me today is President of the County Council, Bud Otis. Welcome, Bud.
Thank you.
It's great to have you on the program again. It's been a little while, and we're approaching our 2-year anniversary of this term in office, so I thought it was a good time to catch up with you and let our viewing audience know what's happening that's important to the County Council. So you want to talk about what's happening at the County Council right now, what the Council's accomplished in recent times?
It's been an interesting 2 years. When you change forms of government, doesn't mean the people change with it. And so it's been a year of getting the adjustments made. I think we've made a lot of progress. I think we've done what we could on the budget in very short term when we first got in office. That's why we have the ballot option coming on the election, so that we get more time to discuss that budget.
Right.
I think that would benefit the county generally. And you know, you and I had never worked together before.
That's true.
And so I think the fact that you and I are sitting down every week having a chat, I think that has developed into a good friendship and working relationship. I think that's very important. I think that when the election's over, we need to roll up our sleeves and try to do what we can to make this county everything it can be. And I see you trying to do that. I'm trying to do that. And I'm happy for the support of everybody that will pitch in and help us. It's a great county. It's a wonderful place to live. I was so impressed, with the top 10s that we have for this county.
That's right.
Wasn't that an amazing list?
It is. It is an amazing list.
Yeah, and so, we have a lot to be happy about. And that's the things I'd like to see us working towards. I thought we had a great year getting the school situation settled so we could open these 2 schools, get the Frederick High School finished. Those are big projects, and they just come along once in a generation. And so I think we met those challenges, and I think that we've made a lot of progress.
We have found some creative solutions to some challenges out there, like the school construction challenge to do 2 elementary schools at the same time. And I think we've accomplished a lot through the budget. And I know that I can bring a challenge to you and that you'll fairly consider it and help to find a solution for it. I mean, I just found out that after wiping out the list of participants on Meals on Wheels so that we didn't have a waiting list, well, that's been recreated. And I think as we have an aging population, we're going to see that happen. So, I'll be coming to the council for a budget transfer to try to make sure that we meet the needs of our seniors who need to have a meal delivered.
I never really got into that program until I actually went out and made food deliveries. Councilman Donald and I went around the Middletown area, and I was so impressed with the system, the way it's set up, and the volunteers. They put out the word in Middletown that we needed volunteers. 20 people showed up for one position. So they're really good people that are anxious to help people in need, and the people were waiting. Some of them were sitting at their table waiting for us to show up.
Right. And
we walked right in, opened up the container, and put the food out, and they were just thrilled,
Well, I think one of the biggest accomplishments, and there's been a number of over the last 2 years, is the fact that we did earn a AAA bond rating from all 3 New York rating agencies. And that happened in part because of the partnership we have on the budget and the partnership to agree to rebuild reserves that were utilized during the prior administration and during the recession. And I really think that's great. We're one of 50 counties out of 3,000 across the country with that AAA bond rating, and it saves taxpayers money.
Not only that, Jan, which is really what it's all about, but businesses, when they're looking at relocating or moving to a community, they want to know what kind of government they have. What's the strength of the government? Are they interested in people coming and putting new businesses in our community? And when they find out that we're in the top 50 of the whole United States, that is fantastic for our presentation when you're talking to people about coming here. So I'm thrilled. That $5 million you tucked back was wonderful, and I support you all the way on those kinds of endeavors, because we are going to be responsible for the finances when our term is over, and you and I have a partnership to make sure it's as strong as we can make it.
Well, and I think it's important for people to recognize, we've accomplished a lot over the last 2 years. And after I did the State of the County presentation, which you participated in, I had somebody ask me, well, how much money are you spending? And which is always a valid question. Mm-hmm. And over the first 2 budget years, we increased spending in the county by $35 million. That's the same amount the prior administration increased their budget over the first 2 years of their term. However, we've changed the priorities. So we've invested in education, we've invested in people through the community partnership grants and making sure Meals on Wheels works and other programs like that. And we've been fiscally responsible while doing that. And so I think it's very important, to let people know that spending is ticking up slowly, mm-hmm. and of course our population is growing, but our priorities are where they need to be in education, public safety, and meeting the needs of the vulnerable citizens of our community.
Well, as you know, we don't have control over where the Board of Education puts the money, but I've been enjoying talking to Dr. Alban about it and other members of the school board. I just was appalled when I got in office and found out our starting teacher pay was 24th out of the 24 jurisdictions in the state.
Yep.
That means our kids that go get an education and want to teach and want to come back home, they're going to get the lowest pay of any place in the state. That just doesn't make sense. And I'm so happy they've changed that and got that worked out, because I don't want people passing our booth when we're recruiting teachers, right, because they realize we don't pay.
Well, we've made progress on that. We're no longer at the bottom.
Right.
I'm not sure, all the statistics haven't come out yet as to what every other jurisdiction, right, did, but we know we've moved up in the ranks, and we know over the next 2 or 3 years we'll continue to move up, because we are the 8th wealthiest county in the state of Maryland, and our pay schedule should reflect that.
Well, I appreciated the fact that you put money in for the county employees to get a raise.
Yes, absolutely.
And the deputy sheriffs get a really nice raise, because they were not in the categories statewide they should have been either. Those are 2 big issues that I think were very important. And I have to tell you, whenever I bump into any of these people, they are so happy with what's happening and where this county's going. And that's really important. We have a great staff, both of us throughout the county, right, the 2,000 employees and the sheriff's department, and our teachers. It's very important that they know that we are behind them, and we have confidence. And I think it's been that has been a great mark.
Right.
Now I'm looking forward to your next budget.
Me too.
Which should be coming up for too long, and we're going to spend some time. And that's why one of the options for the voters is to give us just a little bit more time
to consider that.
Yeah,
budget.
It's not a lot of time, as it is, and we wanted to move it to get a few more days, because it's important. I want to be very serious about working with you on it, and I appreciate the give and take, yep, on items, and I think that's how I think government should work. I have to tell you, you and I both work for congressional people, and our Congress has lost the word compromise or negotiate. They don't want to do that much.
That's true.
And they've gotten polar opposites. And I think it's important to the citizens that we talk, we communicate, and we try to work to solve problems.
Well, and to be functional and pass
right,
the budget. And I do think, and have really appreciated the shared value of valuing our employees, mm-hmm, because, as anybody who's run a business, and you've done that too, you know that, and we see this all the time we do our business awards, that valuing employees and making them feel part of the team is key to success. And it's true in government, just like it is in business. So that is a core value that I think is important.
If you want the quality of people working for you, you got to show them respect and give them a decent wage. And we've done that, and I appreciate it very much.
So what are some of the priorities for the County Council in the coming months? What's ahead?
Well, we're working on a solar panel issue. That's a big deal in this county. Being the largest county in the state, the solar industry has put us in the middle of it all. We're getting pressure from solar companies from all over, wanting us to be very open on what we have happening in the county. And so, as you know, we're working on that proposal, which you and I will be discussing before too many more weeks go by. I believe in solar. I think it just needs to be, make sure we don't end up with 500-600 acres of it in one spot. Right. In some counties to the south of us in Virginia are starting to do that. I think they're going to regret it.
So any other issues or information you'd like to share with our viewers about what the council's doing?
Well, you know, we accomplished a big deal when we passed the ethics bill. Mm-hmm. And I really appreciate the way it's a totally outside selection process that is brought to you and to me of the candidates. And I think that's working well, that we might need to put that into a bill. There's a couple other tweaks to the bill. But basically, I'm excited about the fact we got it done. I'm also very concerned about human trafficking. This county is not exempt from this. And I want to make sure I work closely with you on that, because I happen to have a daughter that is a nurse in that industry and is working on it. And I get the reports out of Montgomery County, what's going on down there. And it's a huge problem. Whenever you have interstate travel and we have these interstates intersecting our county, you're going to have this kind of activity taking place.
So I know that you also share the open and transparent government, that we've tried to move forward, and that people can contact you if they have an issue, and that they are welcome to attend one of your meetings and make public comment. So we do work together to make sure we put out the information on the county webpage about upcoming meetings, all the staff reports, all the backup information. So you know, people can get involved with the legislative initiatives and some of the other priorities that come before the council. So we do need to wrap it up. So any closing comments?
Well, I'm glad you mentioned the public's participation in the council. You know, before any bill gets actually passed, we have an open meeting. So we want to get all the comments we can from the public. And I listen to every one of them. Some I agree with, some I don't. But I thank everyone for coming, for making their contributions. And I listen. And I have to tell you, we do change things sometimes after hearing from the public. Right. It's not a waste of effort. And I'm very sensitive to this. And I want to give them all the time they want. And we never cut the meeting off. We let them talk till they're done.
Well, I appreciate that. So thank you for joining us today and catching up a little bit on what's happening with the County Council. Both County Council President Bud Otis and I really do value that public input. So let us know what you're thinking, what's on your mind, and how we can be of assistance. And keep track of what's happening in county government. It's easy to do. Just stay connected through our webpage, or you can certainly call us as well. So thank you for joining us today for this edition of Community Conversations.